Hello there, thanks a lot for coming by PosterCentral.com's video blog today. I'm Pete Howard, and boy, today a really nice, small, but really nice and out-of-the-way Doors concert poster from March of 1968. Look at this, and look at that unusual font at the top for the Doors name, done by just a local in Rochester, New York. Yes, indeed, on March 16th. 1968. Wow, that's the year not given, but that's they were just starting actually a big East Coast swing were the Doors in spring of '68, and Strange Days, their second album from 1967, had been out for a few months, and it would be a few months more before their next album, Waiting for the Sun, came out. So it was very much between albums number 2 and 3. So, but the Doors were hot. In fact, that next album of theirs, Waiting for the Sun, would be their only #1 album, and it would be there for a month, but that was much later in the fall. Interestingly, I should give you, a quick top to bottom here. Move in a little closer. And not mentioned on the poster, unfortunately, is the opening act, no less than Linda Ronstadt and the Stone Ponies, coming off their top 20 hit Different Drum from just a few months ago. So it would have been great. Got to imagine a picture of Linda on here as well, the Stone Ponies with the Doors, but that's okay. We can get for sure. So this poster, interestingly, is sort of sparse in some ways, and it's quite generous in others. And I think the latter category, the generosity, falls with this great center image, that black and white image, a famous Joel Brodsky photograph. And you can see there's the Doors logo on there, which is really nice. But what's really fun is that, I'll move in slowly, under the RS there in the upper right-hand corner, the 4 Doors are named. That's really neat. So what you have is a vintage Doors concert poster with Jim Morrison's name on it. I do get phone calls from people who, find a bootleg somewhere, and the bootlegs that are made modern day to sell to fans who just want a Doors concert poster for a visual piece, they say, yeah, it says Jim Morrison of the Doors. Is this real or not? And my response was always, there's no authentic vintage Doors poster that says Jim Morrison's name on it, because the band never really singled him out as a star when they were together. And then, of course, he passed away in '71. So modern day poster makers just doing decorative wall pieces really highlight Jim Morrison. Well, we can certainly, this one, of course, it doesn't highlight Jim Morrison or draw him out as the star, but it is it's a vintage concert piece that does mention Jim Morrison, so that's pretty cool. Actually, this black and white image you see with the 4 names and the Doors logo at the bottom is a publicity photograph put out by Elektra Records, which this poster designer, using the term very loosely, in Rochester, New York, simply took that still. And in fact, this still appears on a couple of other Doors concert posters from the 60s as well, so it's not unique in that regard. But I just think it's cool. As small as it is, the fact that it shows the Doors and Jim Morrison and names them is cool. So that's the generous part. How about the sparse part? Well, that's not too hard to figure out, that's for sure. It's got, especially informationally, it's just really, I won't say lacking or wanting, I'll just say really simple. It served all the purpose it had to at the time, certainly around Rochester, New York. It gives just the, as you can see, only the date, the time, and the theater. And every so often I see a poster like this, there's absolutely no hint as to the region. The Eastman Theater could have been in Seattle or Albuquerque or Dallas or something. Only locals at the time knew, it's the Eastman Theater there in Rochester. But of course that adds to the appeal as well. That shows how fleeting these advertising pieces were. They were meant to last a few weeks and then be thrown away after the show. So you didn't need any more information. But usually something works its way into the venue info to give you a hint. It'll say Main and 4th Streets, or what county it is, or the Montgomery Civic Theater or something, to give you some hint. This just says Eastman Theater, but very definitely in Rochester, New York. In fact, I inquired it from the gentleman who attended the show at the Eastman Theater in Rochester, so that's always fun to get one of your posters from somebody who actually went to the show. And then, there's the 8:15 p.m., and there's absolutely no ticket prices or locations where you can buy the tickets. It's just very, very sparse, and in some ways that's really fun. And as we mentioned, there's no opening acts listed. Would have been great to see the Stone Ponies on there, but that's okay. And finally, it's also a little bit small. But you know what else there's nothing of? Complaints by me. I'm just pointing out strengths and weaknesses, but overall, it was a real thrill to have this come in a few days ago. So a vintage Doors 1968 concert poster showing and naming Jim Morrison and Ray Manzarek, of course, John Densmore and Robbie Krieger. Let's give them all credit. So fun piece. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks a lot for coming by. and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.